it's Hailey Sani, and it feels so good to be back home, like filming in my usual setup. So this video was actually gonna be a little juicy, a little different, because I asked you guys on my Instagram, if you don't follow me on there, girl, what are you doing? Who am I taking these grams for? I asked you guys to ask me questions that you think I've avoided, like I'm coming clean with everything. Hopefully nothing too crazy. Oh my god, these are like a lot. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this video because I hate long intros. A lot of these questions are about my boyfriend, and I get it. I'm one of those people that don't really like to be like, hi guys, like this is my boyfriend. You know those girls that get a boyfriend and then 2 seconds later, like it's all they ever post? Like I think that's really annoying. We actually dated for close to a year, like a year and 8 months, and then we broke up. Wow, this is so funny. You guys literally don't know anything about my relationship life. We dated like from junior year to senior year of high school, and then college came around and then we broke up. And then I obviously moved back to LA. We started dating again. So I don't know. I honestly don't know how long it's been in total, but definitely like 2 years, maybe even more. So that's how long it's basically been for me, for us. My relationship probably looks so confusing from the outside just because, like I said, I don't like to rub it in people's faces. Also, I like to respect people's privacy. Not everybody wants to have a bunch of like fan accounts or anyone like fill up their comments. And it's our relationship, you know? I don't think it's a very good idea to put everything in the public eye. Yeah, that was my little spiel on that. What are your opinions slash past experiences with sexism? I've always felt like such a boss lady and like a hustler, and I don't think I could ever be in a relationship, in a marriage, or in just an environment where things are expected less of me or like differently from me just because I'm a woman. Fuck that, actually. I guess it kind of has to do with like the confidence that you present yourself with, which it shouldn't have to do with that. Like a woman shouldn't have to look scary or like super confident in order to get respect that she deserves. We're fighting through it, ladies, and we're all in this together. I think girls should definitely support girls. That's something that is gonna bring all of us, you know, up together. My personal experiences with sexism has been very little just because I just wouldn't allow someone to treat me like that, and I think I make it very clear when like I am approached. So yeah, just keep your head up high, girl. There ain't nothing you can't do. That's my 2 cents on that. Have you ever considered yourself a victim of an eating disorder? I've never been diagnosed with an eating disorder, and I know that's a very sensitive topic. Like some people are actually diagnosed with it and it's on a much more serious scale, so you can't like self-diagnose yourself. That's kind of offensive, I think, to people that do have very serious eating disorders. But the closest I feel like I've come to that was around 7th grade, 8th grade, when I guess you're like hitting puberty and kind of growing self-conscious for the first time because you're more aware of things. Because of that, you have like the ability to compare yourself to other people. I guess it depends for everybody. That can start at a very earlier age, but for me, like the first time I actually like looked in the mirror and like cared about my body was in 7th grade, and it had a lot to do with like the people I follow on Instagram and comparing myself to girls that were so much older than me. Like literally scrolling through Alexis Ren's Instagram page would make me feel so shitty about myself, which I know she like never had the intentions to do that, and she's actually like clean about having an eating disorder. And at such a young age where you're so easy to be influenced like that, I wouldn't like technically starve myself, but I would overthink everything I ate. I wouldn't eat enough. Like sometimes I remember this thought that I once had very vividly in my mind where I was like, I'm gonna stop drinking water, like, or like not a lot of water, just because I don't want to be bloated. Like I remember having that thought go through my head once. As someone who's 14, like what the fuck is that? Like what could have possibly been thrown at me or presented to me that would have led me to think that way? And I would go to the gym every single day and run on the treadmill for 45 minutes straight. Like I would feel like throwing up and everything, and just keep going, keep my eating very minimal, and I would just look in the mirror and always feel big, and I was nothing close to being big. Like I was underweight. I guess it's called like body dysmorphia, and I would eat and feel really guilty about it and like shame myself for it. So yeah, that's as close as I've been to like an eating disorder, even like a mental disorder, I guess, because looking at your body is like not about eating. And like now when I look back at videos from that stage, I'm like, wow, I looked unhealthy. Like I looked skinny in such a bad way, and people around me would tell me and I just wouldn't believe them. Like I would block out everything everything they said. But I've never like been to the doctor and had to get like professional help because of it. I just kind of overcame it by myself. What is your strongest personal quality? So I've been self-reflecting a lot recently just because, okay, this is gonna be maybe a little interesting for you guys, but I always feel like the end of summer is like the beginning of a new year. Like when we go through New Year's Eve, it never really like feels like a new fresh start for me. For me, it's always like coming back home from vacation, getting back on the grind. Like that always feels like a new year. And then around that time, I like to self-reflect and like look back on the summer and earlier on in the year. And I've just been really happy because I've been admiring the fact that when it comes to making decisions about things, I can be super logical and I don't let my emotions take over what's like right, what's the best for me, which a lot of people struggle with. And I guess it's important to find the balance of the two. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit too much on the logical side where I like completely block out emotions, which isn't completely healthy either. I don't know, I like the fact that if I feel like somebody's treating me in a way that I don't deserve to be treated in, they will know and it will stop. I'm a very strong believer of that. You should not be treated any less than what you deserve, which also means you have to treat other people with kindness and respect. If I want something, I work hard to get it also, and I just like to be intelligent about the steps that I'm taking in my life. Not get so SAT word, what's the word? Quixotic, 11th grade. English kicking in. I just don't like people that have their heads in their butts and they just don't realize anything, and I'm glad mine isn't in there. It's funny because there are still questions that I'm avoiding out of the questions that I said I wouldn't be avoiding. Are you going back to college? I've actually wanted to bring this up. So when I first filmed my like I'm temporarily dropping out of college video, it was kind of clickbaity. Like I didn't drop out. I'm currently still enrolled in Santa Barbara. I just paused my enrollment. Because I went to the school for the first 2 quarters, it means I'm a student forever. That means I have the chance to go back whenever I want to. Recently, I've really missed it. I feel like I'm not done learning. I know you learn from life experiences and everything, but there are certain topics where, I don't know, like literature and history, like obviously if you open up a book, you can easily learn about any of those things, but unfortunately, I'm the type of person where if it's not like presented to me, where it's one of my priorities, like you have a test, you have to study this and learn it, not because of the test, but just because you need to know this, you know, in order to succeed in whatever you're doing. If I'm focusing on work, I'm gonna be trying to learn things about my work, and sometimes like social media and PR and advertisement isn't the only thing that I want to be learning about, even though it's like the focus of my work. And in order to do that, I think I still have to go to college just to get that like general education, like stable base for myself. And also like I'm gonna have the rest of my life to work and be a businesswoman. I need to complete those 4 years of my life so that I have the rest of my life to be like, wow, these were amazing times of my life. I made such good experiences, met such amazing people, and in the short amount of time I was there, like 6-7 months or something, I actually grew the most I've ever grown, and I just miss it. I miss my friends, I miss being a college student, I miss learning. I might be hitting Santa Barbara back up again in the near future. That's the tea. But sometimes I think to myself, like, my channel's going so good and I'm so happy with what I'm doing, and I'm kind of in a dilemma, honestly. Frankly, somebody just asked sex, and I'm guessing you like want my opinions on it. I personally think that you should never participate in something that you're not 100% comfortable doing. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter who it is, there is nothing else to worry about except asking yourself, like, am I happy right now? Am I okay with this? Am I good? It's a gut feeling. And as long as you have the answer to that secured in the bag, then you know what to do, girl or boy, whatever. It's really up to you. It's not up to anybody else in your life. You shouldn't have any second thoughts about it. That is the only thing I will say, because, you know, we don't want to get too graphic up in here. Somebody asked sex before marriage. Now, okay, honey bunny, I feel like society, and I feel like such a pain in the ass, like being like society blah blah, like, you know, like one of those people that like talk like they know like everything in the whole world. I definitely don't. Just, I don't know, this is like what I personally think from my being. Who was like, okay guys, we're gonna create this new concept. If you like her and you like her, back in the day you didn't even have to like them, like, you guys, we think you all go together, you guys think you go together, so we just need to sign this little paper. Oh, make sure you buy her a ring, and then yeah, just you guys gotta be together like forever now. So till death do you part. Like, what person was on what drug when they were like, let's make this a thing? I'm not like against marriage. Funny enough, like obviously, I mean, I would like to get married one day, but like they don't go in hand. Like marriage is something that you're like, okay, do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Whatever. Like, do I want to get married to this person, make a family with this person? And then one of them is just like, does my body want this right now? Will this satisfy me? Will this make me happy? Like, etc. So like, I don't understand why this has to only go under this. It's not that big of a deal. How did you meet your boyfriend? I met him in 10th grade, beginning of 10th grade, so 10, 11, 12, almost 4 years ago. Whoa, time goes by in history class, so shout out to Miss Fine. After the surgery, did it ever cross your mind that you don't actually like your new nose? I'll be 100% honest with you. When I first got it done, or when I first got the bandage removed, I literally looked in the mirror and I was like, I look like a pig. Like, it looks so fake, and I would not dare admit it to myself that I regretted it because I knew I would get so much shit for it. Not from like other people, but just from my family being like, dude, like we told you not to do this and then you did this and like now you don't like it. Like, sucks for you, you're stuck with it. Honestly, like sometimes I look at it and I'm like, it still looks a little fucked up. Like, it's a little crooked, like this nostril's a little up from there, but at the end of the day, it's just my nose. It's fine. I don't really care that much. I'm used to it now. We're going with it. There really is nothing I can do about it unless I get like, I would never get another nose job. Like, I don't like talking absolutely. Fun fact, guys, don't talk like absolutely about anything in your life. What I mean by that is like saying things like, I would never do that. I would never do this. Like, this is never going to happen. Never say things, irony, but actually don't say that stuff because you never know what's gonna ever happen in your life. And then, I don't know, just don't set rules for yourself. Just go with the flow. Don't force anything on yourself. And that was like a tip upon an answer. Can you speak Russian? Привет, как дела, бабушка? Yep, that's about it. How often do you drink at parties? You guys, you see, I went to UC Santa Barbara, one of the biggest party schools like in America. I don't know, I go out once a week throughout like the regular year, I guess. I don't drink because I'm under 21. What religion do you follow? Religion is a topic that a lot of people have questioned me about, like ever since like when I first started my YouTube channel, and honestly my answer has always stayed the same. I wasn't raised religiously, but the dominant religion, I guess, that took place around me or people believed around me was Islam, just because I was born in Turkey and raised there. My parents have never been religious. My grandparents are religious. I know it's like everybody has their own views and I respect everybody's views, like would not judge anybody for what they believe in whatsoever, but I guess I would say I'm like agnostic, which is like a fancy way of saying I think God is unprovable, so therefore I'm not gonna deny his existence, and I'm not gonna say I believe in him either because we don't know. So like, I mean, like, I don't think I know. Did you legally change your name? Yes, I did. I think 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I just had Hailey added to my name. What's your biggest insecurity? My biggest insecurity is I feel like when I meet new people, I don't automatically, which is like a normal thing, but it kind of sucks because I'm around people. Okay, let me get to it and then I'll explain the details. When I meet people, I don't automatically express like who I truly am or my sense of humor, how I usually act around my friends, my family, like just the person that I know I am. I'm very different from that person. I'm kind of quiet, a little shy, which if you know me and watch my videos, I'm like the total opposite of that. Not maybe the opposite, but like kind of far from it. So when people meet me for the first time, they're like, oh my god, that's like, why doesn't she talk? Like, she's so shy, like she's so quiet. Like, so that's one of my insecurities. My second insecurity is sometimes I just feel like when people talk about TV shows or music, like sometimes I kind of feel like I'm not as caught up to those things as other people. I don't really watch a lot of TV shows, and oh, like, what's your favorite series? Like blah blah blah, or like, who do you listen to? Like, my least favorite question that people ask me is like, what kind of music do you listen to? Which might sound so weird to some of you, but I'm just like, dude, I just like play my own music. Like, you're probably gonna be like, oh my god, do you know this person? And I'm gonna be like, no, and then you're just gonna like be like, oh, like I don't have time to watch TV shows. So like when you ask me questions about TV shows, like I don't know the answer to them. What is it like being a rich Beverly Hills kid? I make my own money, and with that money I make, that's how I live my life. I haven't asked my parents for money since I was like 13 years old. First of all, I moved to Beverly Hills like 3 years ago, so I wouldn't really consider myself a Beverly Hills kid. And I don't live in a house on the hills. I don't even live in a house. When you see an 18-year-old that's living comfortably, you automatically think like, oh my god, their parents must be so well off. It's not really typical for an 18-year-old to be, you know, making their own money, so you shouldn't automatically assume that. But I guess it's normal like for people to assume that because this whole industry is very new, and like up until now or like recently, I don't think 18-year-olds were well off on their own. Don't assume things about people by just, I don't know, looking at their clothes. What happened with your golden dog? Okay, this was a question I avoided, which I don't really know why. I guess I didn't want people to like look down upon me, judge me for it. If you guys remember, I had a golden retriever when I first moved to LA. We'd had him for like 2 years, and then we had to give him away, and it kind of all happened really suddenly. First of all, we were moving out of our apartment into an apartment that didn't accept big dogs. So that was the first reason that we had to give him away. But, you know, we could have persisted more on like trying to find a different home that would have been like over our budget. But the other problem was he had hip displacements, and his surgery was gonna cost us like $15,000 on each leg, and we were like, we just can't afford that. So my dad wasn't happy with having a dog that lived in the house because he would shed a lot, and he would have like asthma, and just the combination of a bunch of things. Talk a little bit more about your nose job experience. I guess I never really like talked about my experience. I kind of just more so talked about like why I got it, how I was feeling, etc. The experience sucked ass, let me tell you. Worst week of my life. I couldn't breathe out of my nose for a week. I had to like rinse it out with like these water splashers, and there was blood everywhere, and blood makes me nauseous, and it was terrible. But honestly, I should just film a sit down video where I answer questions about a bunch of like your nose job questions, because I have the experience for that. How often do you go out at college? The thing about Santa Barbara was if you wanted to go out every day of the week, you could. There would be stuff for you to do. Margarita Mondays, Tequila Tuesdays, Wine Wednesdays. Thursdays is just TGs, which means themed gatherings, where you basically pretend it's Halloween. You literally dress up and go to a party. Some sorority girls are like wild out there, and they go out like 4 times a week. I guess the average would be like 2, maybe 3 if you're a little frisky. And then I was on the 1 side, maybe 2 for me, but you get tired of it really fast. Elevated surfaces are not fun for too long. Why haven't you said anything about the Dote racism and segregation scandal? I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. I wasn't very closely associated with the issue. I wasn't at the Coachella house. In Fiji, I felt that like, you know, the squad and the people not in the squad, but I guess I didn't see that it was like a racial thing. I just kind of felt like it was more of like a social influencer level thing. I don't know what I thought. So I didn't really speak about it, but there are a lot of things that I want to sit down and talk about Dote. Not just about those issues, because am I gonna get like sued for this? I just want to sit down and talk about Dote. That's all I'm saying. It's gonna be a juicy video. You guys should turn on my post notifications because you're not gonna want to miss that one. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I actually had a lot of fun filming this. Subscribe if you guys want to watch more of my videos, and I will see you guys in my next video. I love you guys so much. All the way to Pluto and back. Bye.